So let's turn now to someone who is pleased with the court's decision. Denise Hawley is the Senior Counsel and Director of the Center for Life and Alliance Defending Freedom. Denise, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Natasha.
So Denise, I alluded to it in the introduction. I understand you're happy about the decision made by the Supreme Court on Friday. Explain to me why.
Well, this is a tremendous victory for unborn children and their moms. The states can now affirm that life is a human right and enact laws to actually protect life and redirect resources to women facing unplanned pregnancies to help them welcome these babies into the world.
Well, let's talk about that a bit. What is being done? Because we've seen a tremendous national campaign in the United States to remove abortion rights at a federal level. But where is the major push to make sure that there is financial and health support for women who will now, in some states, be forced to carry out their pregnancies to full term?
Well, the pro-life movement in America has been alive and well for 50 years, planting more than 3,000 pregnancy resource centers around the nation who are ready to assist moms with all of the material and emotional resources they need. But Roe versus Wade mandated a very extreme abortion regime across the United States, where we are one of only a handful of nations in the world that allowed abortion up until the moment of birth, along with China and North Korea and sadly Canada. And so now that Roe is removed, states can actually redirect those resources even more so into public and private programs supporting these moms.
But it seems again, Denise, that the programs support women up until the point the child is born. So I think I'm asking more about where's the emphasis on universal health care, universal daycare, maternity and paternity leave, making sure that public education is good, all of these things that would now have to be managed because a child is being born rather than a pregnancy being terminated.
Oh, we have these fantastic resources. We have nonprofits, thousands of them around the nation, with offering formula, diapers, maternity clothes, baby clothes, car seats, cribs, helping women with job training. We have all sorts of programs like Medicaid, WIC, things that help those new moms put formula and baby food and food on the table. And so I'm really excited that we'll have an opportunity, hopefully, to divert funds away from places like Planned Parenthood that are profiting off of the destruction of human life and into more resources for these moms.
I appreciate that you mentioned these are nonprofits. And so I think what I was trying to emphasize there is when the state is now going to be involved with legal decisions for these women, where is the state's, the government's involvement in making sure that there are provisions in terms of health and so on? But staying on the issue of the state, I understand that in this argument for protecting unborn children, the issue is individual freedoms as well. This is a big part of the movement. So why isn't it then left up to the individual woman and the individual doctor or healthcare provider to make the decision for what's best for that particular situation?
Well, there are two lives involved in an abortion. Nothing in the history of the United States or the text or the meaning of the Constitution ever contemplated a right to take another innocent life. And so that's what really this is about. It's not about a vague concept. It's about the fact that taking of an innocent life is what happens in an abortion, and there is no constitutional right to that. Now, states like California and New York now will be able to continue to allow abortion if that's what their voters choose as the policy. And then we're going to have other states that choose to fully protect life.
Denise, in your opinion or in your organization's assessment, are there any moments when abortion might make a suitable choice? What if it's a young child who's been impregnated? What if it's a case of incest or rape? Is there any leeway in this argument?
We always support an exception for the life of the mother, and every single law on the books regulating abortion does have an exception for the life of the mother because that is the pro-life position. But there's never an instance where a child should be killed and have their life taken away from them simply because of who their father is or who their mother is or, an action that their parent take. No child should lose their life over who their parent is or what their parent does.
I'm hearing you refer to the pregnancy as a life and as a child, and I want to be completely respectful of your personal and your religious beliefs. But there are many people who do not see a fetus as a life being removed, certainly in the early moments of the conception. And there are many individual women who would still like to have access to the ability to abort their pregnancy for all kinds of reasons, including economic, including for their personal safety, and for many, just the freedom to make decisions with their own bodies. So the issue now becomes, why not permit people to have the freedom, even to travel to other states, to do that where it is legal? Why, if someone doesn't want to have an abortion, I think this is the fundamental thing that's a divide. If one doesn't want to have an abortion and they think it's wrong, don't. But if someone feels, I need to have this option, I need the ability to choose what's right for me and what's safe for me, why not give them a safe option?
You know, most women who choose abortion say that they really would have loved to bring their child into the world if they felt they had the support they need. And so it's not a solution to tell the mother or to suggest that the mother should destroy the human life inside of her. The solution is to come alongside these women and to help them welcome these babies into the world, even if it means using a safe haven law and anonymously giving that child up for adoption immediately, whatever that might be. But this isn't philosophical or religious. This is a matter of science, that from the moment of conception, a new living human being is created with its own DNA, and within just a matter of days has a heartbeat and has its organs forming and fingerprints, and its eyes are opening and closing, and then it's hiccuping and responding to pain. And so this is clear from biology textbooks. And the fact is that life is a human right. That's what at least our nation was founded on, that right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Let me ask you then about the divisiveness in the country, because certainly while this is a moment of celebration for you and your organization, you know that a lot of good people are in pain right now, and they're very upset about this. So rather than an us versus them, is this a moment to gloat and to celebrate, or is this perhaps an opportunity for your side of the argument to try and bridge that gap? And at least for us in Canada, we see you guys yelling at each other all day long. How do you stop yelling at each other and have a more decent, nuanced argument?
I tend to keep the news off also for that same reason. But this is an opportunity to, I think, show that a pro-life America is the way that families and individuals will flourish. When we tell moms, you can be a successful mom and have a happy life and a career. I had 2 unplanned pregnancies. I currently have a 3-month-old that I did not anticipate, and it wasn't great timing for my husband's lack of employment. But thank goodness I chose to have this beautiful baby that's in the room next to me right now. And I think we want to show that that is the way to flourish. And finally, we have the opportunity that was taken away in 1973 by 7 men on the Supreme Court who mandated a regime that's more extreme than almost every country in the world. And so now that that's been lifted, voters and citizens will have an opportunity to help encourage one another to what is the best policy. And so I think you're right that it needs to be done in love, and I and my allies are ready to do that.
Okay, Denise Harley, I want to thank you very much for making some time for us today.
Appreciate it, Natasha. Have a good night.
You too. Denise Harley is Senior Counsel and Director of the Center for Life and Alliance Defending Freedom.